Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Already into the 50s, trying to melt the chunks in the Detroit River away. The ice is fading, but our spring roller coaster ride is up and down.
Plus, it's a busy day underway on Capitol Hill. President Trump pushing health care changes, and his nominee to be the next Supreme Court justice facing a grilling by members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, not to mention a new travel ban implemented. And developing right now on Detroit's west side, a man shot and killed after breaking into his ex-girlfriend's home. And that story tops our news at noon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Evrod Cassimy. Want to give you a live look from the crime scene. That's where we find Local 4's Coco McAvoy. She's been talking to cops and neighbors all morning long looking for answers. Joining us now, Coco, from where it happened. What are people saying?
Evrod, police say the 21-year-old man broke into his ex-girlfriend's apartment with a gun and was shot multiple times in the chest by the woman's brother. And neighbors say this is a case of domestic violence.
It's very sad that he had to lose his life to, a relationship that he didn't want to break up, I guess.
Neighbors and police saying the 21-year-old man had been stalking his ex-girlfriend at her apartment for months, where the deadly shooting took place this morning.
I have seen him come over, breaking up the property, disturbing the neighbors, beating on her. We had to call the police several times.
This morning, police came to the apartment again after the ex-boyfriend broke in and was shot multiple times in the chest by the woman's brother. The ex-boyfriend's car left running outside while this was taking place.
I would have hated to come out here and he would have did something to her.
Neighbors say the woman hasn't been living in the apartment for long, but her garage door and window already have scratches and dents that came from the ex-boyfriend last week. So as police continue their investigation, neighbors say none of this should have happened in the first place.
It's sad that, considering that she just moved in and this had to happen, but at the same time, you have to protect yourself.
And police say they have recovered both guns from the apartment, and there's no word yet on whether or not the brother will face any charges. Reporting live this afternoon, I'm Coco McAvoy, Local 4.
All righty, Coco, thank you. It was a busy day again on Capitol Hill, with President Trump attending a House GOP closed conference to push health care changes. Also, his nominee to be the next Supreme Court justice facing a grilling by members of the Senate Judiciary Committee. NBC's Jay Gray has more from Washington on how the Russia connection fallout from yesterday's hearing will go. You're looking live now at Judge Neil Gorsuch's Supreme Court hearing. We're going to go now to NBC's Jay Gray.
President Trump with a sales call on Capitol Hill this morning, joining fellow Republicans as they search for common ground on the controversial GOP measure to replace Obamacare.
We had a great meeting, and I think we're going to get a winner vote.
The president made his pitch to supporters Monday night in Kentucky as lawmakers back in Washington worked on amendments to the legislation to try and grow support.
And remember, we're going to negotiate, and it's going to go to the Senate and back and forth. The end result is going to be wonderful, and it's going to work great.
The changes overnight include ending Obamacare taxes this year instead of next, giving states more flexibility in how they administer Medicaid funds. Republicans are hopeful the moves will shore up support from conservatives and moderates who voiced reservations about the bill.
We're going to do it. The choice is the status quo, which is unacceptable, or something better.
But Democrats argue they haven't had time to review the final measure, which has been changing since it was first announced.
It's being rewritten a second or third time now, and there's a possibility they're going to ask for another rewrite in the Senate. We want to do this deliberately. We want to make sure the changes in the health care system won't disadvantage the vast majority of Americans.
To get to the Senate, it's got to get through the House. The vote there scheduled for Thursday, 7 years to the day after President Obama signed the original Affordable Care Act. Now, this is without question the biggest policy test early in the Trump presidency, and he was apparently very blunt with them this morning, telling GOP lawmakers if they don't pass this health plan, they will likely lose their jobs and control of the House and Senate in the next elections. Jay Gray, NBC News, Washington.
All righty, Jay, thank you. The federal government is indefinitely banning large electronic devices on certain flights from the Middle East and Africa. The ban will affect nonstop flights from 10 airports in the Middle East and Africa bound for the U.S. On those flights, electronics larger than cell phones will not be permitted. No U.S.-based airlines will be affected because none of them fly from the airports listed on the ban. We're also learning the U.K. might join the U.S. in this ban. A decision by Prime Minister Theresa May could come as early as today. Well, we started the morning out quite foggy, making it difficult to get to and from wherever you were heading this morning. But the good news is hopefully that fog has cleared and we're going to be warming up a little bit, Brandon.
Yeah, the fog is thinned out. It's more of a haze out there, but we have been allowed to warm things up, even exceeding expectations. Haze looks like partly cloudy skies, but it's quite a bit of sunshine out there. West-southwest winds are at 9. Those are starting to pick up, and that in part helped to clear out the fog. Comparing temperatures right now to 24 hours ago, we're about 10 or 12 degrees warmer at noontime than we were on Monday afternoon. So that's some good news. As we look through the afternoon, temperatures getting into the middle 50s, 55 double nickels with sunshine, but cooling as we head into the later afternoon hours. We are tracking a cold front that is right up here in the UP. You can see a little bit of snow along this cold front as well. It's going to come down through a little more dry, but could bring a few flakes to part of the viewing area. We'll take a closer look at that and a cool down, at least briefly, in the 7-day. You're also going to like the numbers as we head into your weekend. We're already thinking about the weekend, Evrod. That's coming up. And your 4-zone weather, of course, is always right there on the weather tab of clickondetroit.com.
All righty, Brandon, thank you. We want to get to some stories that we're following for you that are developing across Detroit's west side after 3 overnight shootings. The first one happened at scene 1 there on your map at Franklin, Wyoming, and that's where a victim says that he was shot in the leg. This was around 12:30 this morning. Thankfully, he is expected to be okay. Also overnight, a 30-year-old man was shot 3 times. Police saying the man drove up to his home on Bramall Street, where another car pulled up and shot him in the legs and foot. At this point, it's unclear who shot that man as police continue to investigate. The third shooting happened outside of a liquor store at the corner of West Warren and St. Mary's. This one around 2:30 this morning. That's where a 19-year-old woman was shot during an argument. Police say the shooter pulled up in a Dodge Charger, started firing at the girl. Unfortunately, that shooter is still on the loose. A coalition of public education advocates suing the state to stop providing funds to private schools. The suit cites the state budget that gives more than $2 million to help private schools meet state mandates like student immunizations and building and health codes. Critics say the funding violates the state constitution. Well, the Third Circuit Court is offering one final warning to jurors who failed to show up for jury duty. Last year, the court called more than 62,000 jurors to appear, and more than 22,000 did not report. Today, Chief Judge Colombo offered those jurors one final opportunity to appear in court. Anyone who doesn't appear could face fines or even jail time, so they're taking this pretty seriously. So to come here at noon, the greatest gift. 10,000 kids in Detroit are getting a pretty big surprise. We're going to show you how this gift keeps on giving. Plus, celebrating an unusual life. A man who transformed from a warlord to a prominent peacemaker dies. We're going to have a look at the life of Martin McGinnis.
When it comes to
Martin McGinnis, who transformed from a warlord to a peacemaker in Northern Ireland, has died at the age of 66. McGinnis was a commander in the Irish Republican Army, battling the British for years. But he quietly changed his views and worked behind the scenes to help form a government of reconciliation and became a government minister in a Catholic Protestant power-sharing arrangement. Some never forgave his violent past, though, while others praised Martin McGinnis as a peacemaker. All right, want to get to a Help Me Hank consumer alert for you. For anyone who might be considering a new tablet computer, Apple announced a new lower-cost iPad tablet. The new device has a 9.7-inch screen, which is the same as the iPad Pro, although it has a processing chip that's not as fast as the Pro model, and its camera is not as sharp. But the new iPad will start at $329, and it'll be available for orders as of this Friday. All right, so 10,000 books were donated to kids in downtown Detroit today. The donation was part of KPMG's nationwide Read to Succeed initiative. Today's events included a mini book fair, a reading session at Nichols Elementary, and a book giveaway for kids at the school.
When we come into a school, it's very exciting to see the kids as they get the books, and they're really excited when they find out that they're able to bring the books home. And so their faces light up. They talk about being able to read at home, and it's a great event. It's a great opportunity for us to see the impact that we're having on the kids and their lives.
Oh, and you can see how excited those kids are, along with helping them. It was a big day for KPMG as well. Today, they donated their 3 millionth book to kids all across the country, and we appreciate the work that they do, especially here in Detroit. All right, still to come, it's a world-famous restaurant for a reason. We're going to take you to the place that's said to have perfected fried chicken. That's coming up for Tasty Tuesday, Brandon.
Well, we're looking at going the other way. Instead of frying temperatures out there, we're cooling down. 53 degrees here now. Look upstream, up in Marquette, 23, a 33 or a 30-degree difference, and a noticeable cool down coming your way next.
We love our pets. They're members of the family, and so we should know what we're feeding them.
Look for natural, fresh.
Just reading those top ingredients to make sure I recognize all the labels.
But one expert says we may not even be paying attention to what really matters.
They really should pay less attention to the ingredients and more attention to the nutrients.
I'm Hank Winchester, and this is my dog. Tonight at 11, we'll reveal some common pet food mistakes and show you what you should be doing to make sure your pet stays safe.
No matter how. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are getting ready for a warm-up.
We are. We have to take a quick step back.
No, we don't.
Well,
I don't want to.
We do. I won't tell him. And then we'll spring forward.
Okay.
We do have some nice temperatures in the 7-day as we hit the weekend. But you know, this time of year is we're on our first week of spring here, that as temperatures warm up, those shower and storm chances start to warm up as well. This is a great shot from the Penobscot building downtown, looking downriver at the Ambassador Bridge. Live pictures and the ice chunks in the Detroit River. 53 degrees. A west-southwest wind is at 9. Those winds will be picking up late afternoon and into the evening, more like 10 to 15. But until then, it is very nice. Middle 50s through about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then again, it gets a little breezier. A cold front approaches and things cool off quickly tonight and overnight, down to 21 degrees for the early Wednesday morning hours, and parts of the Thumb could get a little bit of snow from the winds coming straight down from the north along the shorelines of Lake Huron. Here's a look at some of the wind chills right now. We're not worried about that around here. In fact, anytime temperatures are above 50, you don't have any concern about wind chill. But we look upstream and look at Marquette. 6 is the wind chill right now, 7 in Duluth, and so we get some of that cool air spilling down here as we go over the next 12 to 18 hours, and it stays put for all of tomorrow and early Thursday, and then we start building back with the heat Thursday, Friday, and into your weekend. So some pretty good timing. We'll just have to wait and see about that wet weather. Cold front also is keeping some of this rain and snow over Iowa. It's going to keep that away from us today. So we see a decent amount of sunshine mixed with a little bit of cloud cover. As these winds increase late tonight, it will drag some lake-enhanced clouds coming and going. But there's a look at some of the strips of light snow that could form along Lexington, Port Huron into Sarnia by about 4 o'clock on Wednesday morning. But most of the day tomorrow will be beautiful sunshine, although it's going to be in the middle 30s, and at times in the morning it'll feel like the teens on Wednesday and on Thursday mornings before we start to warm up a little bit on your Thursday afternoon, back into the middle 40s. On Friday, we should get into the 60s. However, tracking some rain and thunder shower chances Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No all-day washouts here. Temperatures are warm, but we're going to dodge a few showers each day, Friday through Sunday. Well, it's a world-famous fried chicken joint expanding, hatching right here in Metro Detroit. It's all about the chicken. Let's get on the bus to Gus's Fried Chicken. Gus's Fried Chicken in Midtown Detroit is hyper-focused on one thing.
We focus on chicken and we do it right, and we do it right every single day. We open at 11 every day.
Gus's is a Memphis-based franchise with several seductive sides for a chicken that is fresh and unique.
We hand trim it, hand batter it, and then let it marinate in the batter, usually about a day before we fry it.
Breasts, wings, thighs, legs, and tenders all fried in peanut oil for the best result. There's a little bit of a zest or a kick to the chicken, but GM E.J. Niemerkaiser says it's perfect.
It's a nice, even heat, and that's where it came from Memphis, and that's how they do chicken in Memphis.
You can get a plate with as little as 2 pieces or as many as 20. Most fried chicken combos come with bread, baked beans, and coleslaw, but there's mac and cheese, collard greens, and more. All sides, all homemade. Gus's Midtown serves several tap and canned beers, and a 40. Gus's has 5 homemade pies, from pecan and sweet potato to a chocolate chess pie.
Because that's like a underbaked brownie in a pie crust. It's delicious. Served warm with ice cream, it's perfect.
You want to get on the bus to Gus's today for their world-famous fried chicken. They're offering a 2-piece meal for $5, and that comes with a $5 gift card when you mention Tasty Tuesday. So sort of a 2-for-1 incentive to head there. You have to go there today. Locations downtown Metro Detroit and in Westland on Ford Road. The other, again, mentioned in Midtown on 3rd Street near Wayne State Campus. And Evrod, we sampled.
Yeah.
Delish.
Oh, their fried chicken is the best. Still to come here at noon. We're talking about this boy with a rare skin disease who found unlikely comfort in a new friend. We've got the touching story coming up next. Keep it here.
Replay song. In Arkansas, a boy with a rare skin disease is feeling a lot better thanks to his furry friend.
Yeah, this is a really cool story, a very heartwarming story at that. Take a close look at your screen. You can see this is 8-year-old Carter Blanchard, and he has a condition that causes his skin to have different colored spots all over his body, in fact. It looks a little similar to vitiligo. And for a long time, he felt that he didn't really fit in. There were maybe no other kids in his class that looked just like him. But that was until he met a dog with the exact same condition.
What's your favorite part? Getting to pet him.
Well, take a look at that. Yeah, so he does have vitiligo. And while the dog did have to go back home eventually, Carter's mom says that they're going to keep in touch through pictures and videos. So whoever, I guess, owns the dog will be taking the videos and the pictures. But taking a look at that kid, he's a cute kid.
Yeah, and it's amazing what a dog can do to help out, relate to, and who would have thought
Absolutely.
they would have that in common.
Very cool.
Well, we have one last look at the forecast here for you on a Tuesday. It is looking good, 55 degrees this afternoon, but there will be a cold front coming in tonight. You'll notice the winds picking up, and you will feel the difference tomorrow. In the 20s in the morning, probably feeling like the upper teens, and even a chance for some lake effect snow along the shores of Lake Huron tomorrow. 30s for highs, that's it, but then we'll warm up by the end of the week. Just a quick dip, that's it.
Okay, I'll take that. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.